Okay, so when I read Cassie's story, if it is true what she is saying, it broke my heart. So my story happened over a decade ago. I've never spoken about this publicly on camera, but today is the day. Let's just call him David. I met him in 2007. We were at the same school, college. Both of us had dreams of becoming a doctor. His dad was actually already a medical doctor. I also learned early on that he was the valedictorian of his high school. He said all the right things. He was he had all the right manners. Seemed like he knew how to treat a woman. Basically blossomed into a friendship from there. We never got into a relationship before we entered into a sexual situation. Well, not long after starting that situationship, I got pregnant, okay? So after I got pregnant, this was maybe a couple of months after I met him. I found out I was pregnant for the first time, was not happy, I was scared. Well, because I was raised in the church, there was something in me that knew that I needed to marry him. There's one thing that I would say about the church is that the church kind of makes you believe that, if you get pregnant, that you need to marry the guy that you got pregnant by to make everything look right. But I'm going to just say this right here, that if you're in this situation and you get pregnant by a guy and you guys, maybe weren't dating, or if you were dating, you didn't know whether you wanted to marry him or not yet, you didn't really know him, don't feel pressured to marry him. That's not God's will that you marry him just because you got pregnant by him. That can lead to the worst things ever if you keep going down a road that God never intended for you to go down in the first place. If you open a door and walk through a door that God never opened for you in the first place, it's just going to be disaster. And so that's basically what happened for me. I found out I was pregnant. I told him that maybe we should start dating. Maybe we should try to make it work. Maybe we should see, horrible mistake. So he decided, okay, yeah, we can try to make it work. We can try to get into a relationship and see where it goes. And so we did. I went through the pregnancy. I didn't move in with him then while I was pregnant. I stayed pregnant throughout school. I had my daughter in May of 2008, but I did take off that next semester. So a year after I met him in 2008, I moved in with him. And we basically tried to make it work that way. By that time, I don't think I saw any evidence of, I think there were red flags. I just can't remember what they were, because I do remember thinking to myself, okay, there were red flags and I should have noticed it. There were probably things like him getting mad. He used to get mad a lot, just over little things. And he wouldn't do anything. He would just kind of get mad, just get really mad. And I would be like, how can you go from 0 to 100 like that, But I never really saw anything major happen. It was just he would get really, really upset or angry. He would call me out my name. He would basically just do things to demean me and make me feel less than. That was the main thing with him. Well, I'm going to tell you about this one incident that kind of changed everything. We were in his apartment one night. I was at home as usual because I had taken off this semester. I was at home. We had our daughter. She was a few months old. She had been born in May, so she might have been less than 6 months. And me and her was sitting on the couch, and I was watching TV when he made it home from somewhere. I don't know where he had been, but he came in the house and he went into the kitchen and was doing something. And he said to me, the kitchen was right there. We was an apartment, so the kitchen was right there by the living room. I could look over and see him. He said that he wanted to watch TV. Well, I told him that I was watching something. He proceeded to tell me to give him the remote. And I told him, no, that I'm trying to watch something. Like I was in the middle of a show or something. And all of a sudden, he came over to me, walked over to me, and told me again to give him the remote. Well, I said, no, I'm not giving you the remote. He lunged for the remote to get it out of my hand. I held it back from him. He pulled it anyway, and he pulled it really, really hard and just jerked it out of my hand really fast. Really hard and really fast. And so I've never been a quiet person. I'm literally not the person to be abused because I'm not quiet and submissive like that. Especially when I feel like I've been done wrong. And so I got loud and I was just like, why would you take that from me? I was watching something. Why are you doing that? And mind you, by this point, I hadn't really seen heavy evidence of abuse or anything. It was just kind of he would get mad and just call me out my name and stuff, but I had never been touched or really shown any huge signs of abuse. Well, it changed that day. He grabbed the remote. He began to holler back at me, scream, cuss me out, call me out my name, say that it was his house. I was just there. And he got so mad. And, at the same time, I'm hollering at him like, why would you, that's so disrespectful. Why would you take it from me? He continues to go. Now, he's a big man now. He's about 6'3".